Good afternoon. So who here has been using behavioral techniques, behavioral psychology, behavioral influence in their business at all? Some people. Oh, great, great. And who here, just by also raising hands, who here has been influenced, maybe even today, by behavioral psychology or behavioral influence in marketing? Okay. So the real thing is, first of all, we are all using it. It's happening now. It happens all the time. Every person right now is using behavioral techniques. The shame is, or the bad thing is, you're probably not aware of it. And we're all being influenced. As this slide's going on back here, there's behavioral cues in there. They may not be being used appropriately, but they're in there. And they're everywhere. You know, what's a behavioral technique? Behavioral technique is when I give you a cue and you respond generally consistently the same way. So if you came up and I reached out my hand to shake your hand, that's a behavioral influence technique because it's likely you'll shake my hand or you'll spit in my face if you don't like it. If you've read the newspaper, and read the newspaper or any magazines in the last week, just anything, a column, those are steeped with professionally placed behavioral cues. Next time you read a newspaper article, watch this. You'll read it's on the cover page. It's an interesting headline. It's behavioral cue 1. It captures your attention. You start reading through the column. It's interesting. And then it gets to the bottom where it says continued on page 16. You know what I'm talking about, or page whatever. Look at that sentence where it says continued on page 16. 99.9% of the time, that sentence will never end in a period. It'll never be a full, complete sentence. It's called a cliffhanger technique. This is a very common behavioral cue. They do it on news stations too. But newspapers will leave an incomplete sentence, and our behavioral response is always the same. We have to get to the conclusion. Curiosity kicks in. And what does the newspaper do? You turn to page 16, and there's about this much left of the article, and there's all the advertisements that they want their advertisers shown to you. News stations do this too. You ever watch TV? You can watch it tonight. You turn on the news and they say, oh, we're going to commercial break. But before we do, make sure you come back because you're feeding your kids 5 vegetables. That's killing them. Right? And what do? You're like, I got to watch it now. I'm killing my children with broccoli. That's a behavioral cue. They leave a high amount of curiosity. And there's countless other techniques. Well, I kind of fell upon this about 2 years ago. I wrote my book, The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur, and I came out with it, and it was kind of a dud. The book came out like no one wanted this book, but I really thought I had a great product and a great service. And maybe you're experiencing something similar. You think you have something great, but man, no one's buying it. So I started studying behavioral psychology. I kind of fell upon it and started using it, and the book's exposure took off. And the book is now a top seller consistently. And it's actually, I'm just negotiating a deal for a whole brand new book because of this. So, what I wanted to do today was share with you 3 techniques. There's, quite frankly, there's about 24 very powerful behavioral techniques. But I want to share 3 techniques with you so you can understand what they are, and I'm going to tell you how to specifically apply it to email. But just before I get started, how many people here are using email now to market or communicate with customers? Okay, almost all of us. Okay. How many people use newsletters to do that, by the way? Okay. How many people send spam? All right. Oh, nice. Yeah, I do. I spam the crap out of people. I like your honesty. So, okay. So let's talk about 3 significant techniques. First question. Does anyone know what 2, sometimes 3 words in the English language are the most powerful words that exist? So powerful, they will get people running to newsstands to buy tens of copies of newspapers or whatever. Free? Free's like number 2. What else? One time only. Good one. Not it though. What else? Now. No. Good. No. Close. Sex, yes. Yeah, no. Maybe for me, but no. All right. The 3, or usually it's 2 most powerful words are our own name. Our own name. Because if I see my name in the newspaper, I am running to buy it. All 10 copies. I'm giving it to my mom, my sister, everyone. Check it out. My name's in the paper. There is nothing more attractive, persuasive, luring, besides sex, than our own name. When spelled correctly and pronounced properly. So, How powerful is this technique? I want to tell you an application outside of email where I use this, and or I think you might be able to copy this and take this home right now. I got a call about a year ago from the Chimney Cleaning Association of America. Yeah, yes, they exist. Yeah. Yeah, they exist. And they have a problem. Because if you're a chimney cleaner, no one knows that they need you in the first place because you can't see the inside of a chimney. And if you do clean it, no one knows what the hell got cleaned because you can't see it. And when you do the work, you're up on the roof, so no one even sees you. They just think there's some burglar up there in a black uniform going like this up and down the chimney. It's a real problem to be a chimney cleaner. The only time, historically, that people have been calling upon you is when your neighbor's house burns down because they had a chimney fire. And then and you get them coming to your house. Well, this is a problem for them. And they called and said, our sales for our life of chimney cleaning has been staggering. We want to use some kind of behavioral techniques to get people coming. And we went back to names. And here's what we did, and here's exactly what you can do in your business. We started calling past customers, like the 3 of them that they had. We started calling past customers, and it's not talking about our product. And this is a common mistake people make. Give me testimonials how great my product is. Tell me how great my stuff is. Instead, we asked people to share stories about their experiences around the fireplace. So we reached out and said, you're a customer of ours. We cleaned your chimney. What was your experience like in front of the fireplace? What was the most memorable experience you had? The biggest celebration, maybe a romantic experience? And stories came in, the Sweet 16 birthday party that was celebrated there, the wonderful romantic events where a guy came back from the military, a soldier, and his first moment with his wife and his family again was in front of the fireplace. The most impactful story that just blew my mind was this young lady who wrote, and she says, when my father passed away, I was in front of the fireplace. And she's like, when he passed and his final breath occurred, a flame sparked strong. And she's like, that's the moment I knew, to me, God existed. Wow. These stories came piling in, and we compiled about 50 or 60 short stories, just as quickly as I told you, 5 or 6 sentences of what the fireplace meant to people. Well, what do you think happened? Because we gave attribution to Jane Smith, who shared that story, and so forth. What happened was their name was in the paper. And they came, and they told their family, and they told their friends, and the word got out. And there wasn't a single piece of that cheesy buy my shit marketing going on. It was all about the stories and the experience around the product or the service. And business started going up big time. Website traffic started skyrocketing. More people wanted to share their stories. They started a community. So behavioral technique 1, which you're already using in your personal life when you hang out with your friends and you talk and just enjoy yourselves around dinner, you need to be using with your prospects and clients. Let them be involved and let them get credit for what they participate with, what they share with you. Let them have their name in writing. And I'll explain a little more about that in a second. An email, but there's behavioral tip 1. Another kind of strategy I wanted to share with you is the technique of reciprocity. Has anyone experienced this around Christmas time? It's 2 weeks before Christmas, and all of a sudden these cards come in, and you get a card from me, a guy you saw speak one time, and you're like, crap. And I'm like, hey, how's the family? Things are great here. Here's my wife and beautiful children. Want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hope to see you soon. And you're just sitting there going, I got to send him a card now. And you run out to the store and you fill it out, you pop it in the mail, and it's like, oh, did you get my note? I was going to send it to you. Of course you weren't going to send it to me. But I invoked the law of reciprocity. What this law is when I get this behavioral cue, is when I give you something, you're likely to give back in kind, sometimes even greater. If you give a gift to someone with no strings attached, no manipulation, no you got to respond, people actually want to respond, and they build loyalty to you, and they do respond. That's the law of reciprocity. And we're going to talk about how to use this in email, but basically here's the rule of thumb. In your business, whatever product you have, whatever service you offer, you have to give until it hurts. Just keep giving. And in respond, your customers, your prospects are going to give back to you. They'll build loyalty to you.